Alrighty, let's get busy with our weekly What's Up for the week of October 5th through the 11th, um, October 2020. And so we have quite a bit going on. Alrighty, we'll just do it that way then. Yeah, so we start off Monday with Mars squaring the big boys, Jupiter and Saturn and Pluto, who are also aspecting the North Node, right? And so this is Aries and Capricorn energy. It's really, really cardinal sign. So there's a lot of movement attached to this energy, right? We've also got a Taurus moon, so there's a lot of stubbornness and power, actually, in the beginning of our week. So I highly recommend that you just pay attention, do a little extra thinking, right? Those big squares, they can get you places, but you just have to be cautious while you're going and make sure that your action is well-founded in terms of where you actually want to end up, right? Because this is energy that affects your destiny, that affects your fate, right? That North Node is not playing around. It's like, you know, they say about little kids who are riding bikes, they end up going where they're looking, right? So you got to make sure that you're looking somewhere you want to go. Always the best option. Tuesday's kind of more of the same. The moon moves into Gemini. And then on Wednesday, we have a Scorpio Mercury opposing a Taurus Uranus, right? And we're in the ramp up for Mercury retrograde. So this opposition, because we're going to have that Mercury retrograde, we're going to have this happen 2 more times in the next five-ish weeks. So feel this energy on Wednesday, right? So Mercury opposing Uranus is one of those guard against things popping out of your mouth that you might not intend, but also expect flashes of brilliance, right? Uranus is all about sudden insight. Uranus is all about really flashes of genius and brilliance. So make sure that what you say is what you want to say, or you might have unexpected consequences, but also expect your brilliance to be shining through during these times, right? Oppositions, as we all know, are opportunities. So as long as you're paying attention, you might surprise yourself, right? That's kind of nice. On Thursday, the moon moves into Cancer, right? And it's also squaring Chiron in Aries. So on Thursday, watch out for feelings of like being triggered, right? Just make sure that you are especially mindful of your patterns, especially with that Mercury-Uranus opposition and the tick-tock, here comes Mercury retrograde. Just be mindful. You know, your heart might be soft on that day, so and your feels might be a little prickly. So just keep an eye out. Keep your heart open on that day, and be mindful of any old wounds creeping in to kind of derail you. On Friday, Mars squares Pluto. Okay, so here's what I want you to know about Friday. On Friday, Mars squares Pluto, guys. Mars squares Pluto. So this is about unlimited energy, kind of meeting this potential for unbridled power, right? So this square is kind of a really red flag day, okay? So just be mindful of yourself on Friday the 9th. The moon is squarely in the middle of Cancer. So just walk with caution. Pretend that you're in bubble wrap. Just imagine that everything has yellow caution tape around it, and that there are caution signs everywhere you look. Just think twice, cut once, right? How handy that was. Saturday on the 10th, Venus trines Uranus. So this is Earth and Earth, right? So it's our Virgo Venus trining a Taurus Uranus. So this is really a 3D kind of day, especially like with this Mars Pluto energy, right? This is very real, grounded energy. So we're following it up with this Venus Uranus trine, right? This is about 3D love, 3D resources, 3D tangibles. So on this day, you might be prepared for something unusual. Like we just talked about, Uranus has that uncanny ability to surprise you. You might be inspired to all of a sudden do something different in terms of love or relationships or your finances or your resources. All of a sudden, you may decide that what you're doing is not working for you and that you want to do something differently in regards to love or your finances. And it might come as a shock to you or to the people around you. Either way, pay attention, because that trine is not just playing around. And then on Sunday, the 11th, we have our beautiful Libra sun. Yes, I am a little partial. Squaring Jupiter, right? And so this is revisiting, right? This happened in April. And so this might be a nice check-in, right? A 6-month check-in. What did you do or change in April that had to do with your own vitality, will, or expansion in terms of your personal way of being, your personal way of being in the world, your expansion? Or because Jupiter is that planet of bigness and largeness, and Jupiter tends to overpromise, right? So is there a thing that you might have made a decision on regarding yourself and your beingness in this world that now you need to revisit, right? Because whatever you may have decided might not be allowing you to grow and expand in the ways that you had imagined that it would, or it might not be sitting well with you. 6 months down the road, you know, there's a lot of changes that have happened energetically. There's a lot of changes that have happened galactically and cosmically, and there's a lot of changes that have happened for everyone personally. So it might be that your self-created state or situation or way of being is something that now you think, maybe not, right? Maybe not. Again, cardinal energy, right? This is all cardinal energy. You know, with that Cancer moon this week, with you know, Mars in Aries and Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto all up in Capricorn. It's really a lot going on in the cardinal signs. And so this is all about how you present, how you move forward, how you choose to exist in the world, what you put forth, the way that you choose to be, right? And, you know, next week we have Mercury retrograde, of course. Always exciting. And that will take us all the way through the election here in the States. So you just never know. Let's look at the tarot. So Monday, remember we have Mars squaring Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter, right? And then that aspect also to the North Node. So this is a day to beware, right? This is about loss. This is about sadness. This is about pain. And the moon is a card of what lies hidden, right? It's also about the unexpected, things you may not see. So there might be things coming at you, fated things that you set in motion, that are now coming to fruition, especially with that Taurus moon, very real world things that you may not have foreseen the consequences, but now you're reaping those consequences, and you might not like it. It might be causing you pain. It might be weight on your heart, right? And your destiny is asking you, is this really what you intended? Is this really where you wanted to go? Did you do the work, or did you just end up here? And how might you shift and change that pain, right? What might you be willing to intuit that can help? Yeah, Mars. He's very stabby sometimes. On Tuesday, like I said, Tuesday we've got the moon moves into Gemini. We still have the Mars square energy, right? So here we've asked ourselves these questions, right? Now we move into the energy of the Fool, clarified by the High Priestess, right? So the Fool is about faith, right? This is a card of faith, new journeys, right? I'm traveling light. I don't need much. I've got everything I need right in this little bag. I know my success is assured, and I'm trusting, right? This is an act of faith. And then we've got the High Priestess, and the High Priestess is really about checking in with that intuition, right? We just had that big, glorious full moon. And again, that Priestess is that energetic of being the bridge between heaven and earth, right? Trusting where we're going, right? Trusting that our destiny is in our hands, trusting that we know what to do in the event that we need to heal our own pain, right? We do have a little Chiron action this week too, in opposition to the sun. So, those are things that we can handle ourselves. And then we've got that Mercury-Uranus opposition on Wednesday. So we've got the Page of Pentacles, clarified by the Eight of Swords. So the Page of Pentacles is about bringing in new concepts, new ideas of resources, how to use your resources, right? It's excitement about the creation of or utilization of new resources, right? And the Ace of Swords is going to cut away any extra, anything that is unnecessary, right? This is that divinely given idea. So on Wednesday, right, we talked about how you might have a great idea with Mercury opposition to your Uranus, and how your communication, your expression may be just kind of all of a sudden you say something that is brilliant, right? So you might have an idea about how to utilize something in a different way. Or, something practical, making more money, or using your resources in a better way in order that you can express yourself more clearly, right? Especially as Mercury is getting ready to go retrograde. That's a big deal. Also, this day, the moon is conjunct the North Node. So this is about destiny, right? The universe is handing you an idea. It's handing you an idea. So I think the Mercury-Uranus the Mercury-Uranus opposition is going to bring those opportunities, right? As long as you're paying attention. Yeah. And then Thursday, so I talked a little bit about Chiron. So we have that square to Chiron, right? And also that big Cancer moon. So the Nine of Pentacles is about your independence. It's about being resourced for yourself, right? So your resources are here. Even if you have a new idea about those resources, this is a beautiful card of knowing your own abundance, being in your own independence, having the freedom to be and do who you are, in a kind of an unobstructed way, right? And coming after that moon conjunct the North Node, this is just a little bit of validation that you've got yourself rolling. But, right, this new idea might shake things up. It might change the way you manifest your independence or your abundance, be open for that. These Uranus aspects are asking you to pay attention and be willing to deal with the fact that things are going to shake up, right? And we can look at that in a couple of ways. We can look at that as, oh my gosh, things are changing, oh no, or wow, these are great ideas. So Friday, remember we talked about that Mars-Pluto square, right? This Eight of Wands is a card of passionate movement. So again, we're going to be cautious on this day. And the King of Swords is literally there asking us to be mindful, right? The King of Swords is about knowing how to reel it back in and sit in the expression of your ideas. He is all for you being measured in your responses and being discriminate in your responses and very discerning in your actions, right? So on this day of Mars square Pluto, which can be a dangerous day, really, you know, in many manifestations, you're being asked to measure your responses in terms of taking action or, you know, putting anything out there that's going to move quickly. On Saturday, we've got that beautiful Venus-Uranus trine, right? So this is all about love and resources. Like I said, be prepared for someone or something to appear out of nowhere. So we know that the Two of Pentacles is about being able to multitask and juggle your resources beautifully, right? To ride any emotional waves, to be very grounded, to have these polarities literally moving through you. You know, so Venus-Uranus is about 3D, right? We've got our 3D here. And with Uranus, we've got that fluid dynamic motion. And we don't have to worry. And you know, Venus is all about love, right? So this is the King of Cups, right? This is about understanding your emotional maturity and your ability to respond appropriately, not only from an emotional standpoint, but from a resourced standpoint, from a real world standpoint, right? How do we bring our heart into our lives and not allow it to throw us off kilter? Well, we just make sure that we're measuring our responses. And with Venus trining Uranus, this is a time when we want to be open to that motion and open to making very mature decisions, right? Absolutely. And then on Sunday, Sun squaring Jupiter, right? So again, we're revisiting those things from April, right? So Four of Cups is a card of almost boredom. It's a card of like daydreaming, but here it feels like a card of reverie. Like we're going to sit down and we're going to see what has fulfilled us, what has emotionally filled us up, and have we made the right decisions, or shall we take this cup that's being offered, right? And so the King of Wands, you know, we got a whole lot of kings up in here. So this is a whole lot of being in control of yourself this week, being in the know with yourself and your responses. So the King of Wands is asking you, look at your passions, look at your inspirations. He is the king of heart-driven action, right? So what decisions did you make in April? Were they heart-driven? You have the opportunity today, Friday, with that Sun-Jupiter square in those beautiful cardinal energies, to really look at how did I balance that? Did I make the best decision? Am I utilizing my passion to the fullest? Or did I just, you know, let things slip away? You get to make those decisions. Absolutely. Yeah, it's a big old week, y'all. So again, with this King energy, it's really, really important to stay in your own control, right? To stay in your own presence, to stay in your own embodiment. And we have number 51, milk and honey. All right. Beautiful. Alrighty. So, all right. It's a beautiful card. So this is the taste of prosperity. Opportunities born of authenticity. Nurturing abundance. Trusting that your needs will be met. You've entered a sweet time in your life, enjoying the land of milk and honey that everyone wants to experience. It's an interlude that feels more languid than ambitious, when all your senses are awake to the unlimited possibilities in the universe. These times are precious and only come when you're in your authentic zone, wearing the world as a loose garment, not wanting, yet able to be nourished in ways both tangible and subtle. Abundance is an energy that you are a living part of. All your needs are being met. You are being given the gift of nourishment in every form. So this is really all about recognizing the places that we have allowed ourselves to be our own worst enemies, right? And understanding that by taking our intuition and allowing us to move through the world in this leap of faith, right? Knowing that whatever we undertake, we're golden as long as we're following our hearts, right? Allowing ourselves to be inspired by new ways to do things and not be so stuck and afraid for our own abundance and independence that we don't recognize where we need to change, but knowing that a measured approach to change is going to give us the best results, allow us to do the best juggling, acting with our hearts, and then revisiting, did I make a good decision? What has the last 6 months of my life brought me? Am I in control of my passions? Am I being led by my passions? Or am I being led by a decision I made based on something else, right? Creating that belief, right? Again, it's a faith walk, really. You know, Pluto just went direct. We know this. This is a faith walk. This is trusting in our abundance and knowing that our abundance is always there, no matter what path we're asked to take to get it. As long as we know where we're going and how we're getting there, and as long as we're following our hearts, we can't go wrong. We just can't go wrong. Next week, Mercury retrograde, y'all. Until then, take it easy, especially on Friday. Big blessings.